Welcome back, Aim Squad.
Welcome back.
We are back after a very merry Thanksgiving football Thursday.
I still have itis.
Yo, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it was a lot of turkey. I mean, we celebrated up here in Canada. It was a lot of food, a day off. We definitely worked our work schedules around it. Caught all 3 games, and we even had a big bonus game today on Friday.
We had a bonus game on Friday.
We had a divisional game.
The Black Friday special.
That was great. But, it was a good game today, but let's get into the games from yesterday.
Let's get in for it. So, Thanksgiving, we had 3 games on the board.
Yep.
Let's just go into it. We had our records going in. Myself, Thursdays were kind to me, or not kind to my brother Irshad here. I was 8-4 going into it. My brother was 4-8.
Yeah.
We ran into 3 games. 2 of the games, we were right in the same team. 1 game, we had to go against each other.
Yeah.
But let's go. First window, we had a divisional game between the Bears and the Lions. Lions came out favored 9.5. We said, hey, they're going to lay it down on Chicago. They did in the first half.
They did.
And then second half, Detroit just forgot how to produce points.
Yep.
Chicago came down. Chicago figured out how Detroit was playing, ran their schemes because they knew Detroit was going to run the football. They pressed, came down to the wire, had a chance to even tie the game or even win to go to OT. The game ended in 3 points. Detroit did not cover the spread.
No.
Where my brother, you and I took a loss opening game.
Tough game. It was tough. I mean, it was 9.5. That was a pretty substantial spread.
Yeah.
They brought it within 3, so that was tough. But a miss is a miss. But we went to the second game, which was the Giants visiting the battered Cowboys at home. This game also was an interesting game. We thought it was a bit of a snooze fest. It kind of turned out to be at times. I'm not gonna lie, but it was surprising the way the Cowboys played. I don't know if it was so much as the Cowboys playing well, or as much as the Giants just playing poorly. I think it was a combination of both that eventually led to a one-sided offense. I thought you had Neighbors essentially getting every single look. And just from his whole spiel with his offensive coordination, you almost kind of gave the defensive coordination the ability to read you prior to. You knew this was going to go to Neighbors. You knew that's the first option, it's the first look. And he picked up some good yards, because some good targets, but he unfortunately was not able to convert. As a team especially. And unfortunately, the Giants lost. And they weren't able to cover. Leading the call that Ulner and I both made at plus 3.5, not to happen. So that was another miss, which leads us to our last game.
Last game, here we go. We had a game that was from cross-conference between the Miami Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers, the Cheeseheads. They came out to play.
Yeah.
They said, hey, listen, we love the cold. Miami, you and the cold do not get along.
Yeah.
Stay in the sun, stay in the hot weather. Don't come to the cold, because look what happened Thursday late night game. Miami just was too cold to play out there.
Yeah.
They had their chances, but just couldn't capitalize, couldn't finish. Certain drives where they got the points and they got a flag, tried to go for the touchdown, end up still kicking field goals.
Yeah.
They were just a little lopsided in the first half. They were trying to adjust to the weather, where Green Bay came out and said, hey, we're going to hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs. He's going to run, throw a short pass to Jacobs, let him do his thing in the open field. Jordan Love was having a field day.
He was.
And they just went on and smoked Miami.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think you had Tua's checkdowns to Jonnu Smith. So picked up lots of yardage. But yeah, you know what? Weren't able to convert on their opportunities. The 3.5 definitely wasn't even close. Ulner, I know you called the minus 3.5, so you hit.
I
so
hit
there
one,
you go.
Yeah. I did change it up last minute though.
Yeah,
but
it was the Thursday. The Thursday surprise,
Thursday voodoo. The Thursday, that's what it was.
It was that turkey talking,
Exactly.
But, there we are. So, Ulner, you hit that one, which leads our week to end. Ulner, you finished 1-2, which is great. Thursdays just aren't kind to me. I went 0-3. And so, we closing out our Thursday night football records for Thanksgiving week. Ulner, you were 9-6, or you are 9-6, right?
Correct.
I'm 4-11. But let's get into our kind of parlays and our bets and our fantasies and how we did generally.
Let's get into it. So we start off with trending bets.
Yes.
We had 3 players, one from each game, all score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Again, first window opened up. We were like, this one's a for sure one. Gibbs is going to go in, find the end zone. He didn't. He was the most bet player prop for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And he did not cash in our Thanksgiving first one.
No.
But the other 2 we had.
Yeah.
Hit. Irshad, tell him the other 2
So we had Tracy out of the Giants.
Yep.
He hit, so thank you for
first
that.
touchdown scorer too. Yeah.
First touchdown. You got the bonus in there, and then we had Jacobs. He also hit.
Yeah.
So whether you got with us on the straight bets or on the parlays, hopefully you did straights as well. With these ones, we definitely advise straights, but fortunately they both hit, so you'd have come out on top there.
There you go.
And then we lastly had our parlay.
Yeah, this started off nice.
It did.
We had Amon-Ra St. Brown over 60 yards. He had about 43 or 40, around 38, I think it was at halftime.
At half, yeah.
And then he went out, got another catch. He was at 47, was short for like a couple of yards. Got it to 50 towards the end. Got past the 60-yard mark. Boom, we were like, this is an easy check mark. Let's wait till the next game. But the second game was not kind to us at all.
No, that was tough. Robinson...
he was on -2 yards
at some point.
Yeah.
And like let's say we were getting every yard, every target, it was going to neighbors.
For sure.
Neighbors. And Robinson was just underutilized. I think like we talked about, everybody knew their offensive plan. We don't work in the NFL. I'm sure you guys don't work in the NFL, and you guys knew what the offensive plan was. Like Robinson wasn't going to get looks. It was all about neighbors. So Robinson missed the 30 yards receiving, and then Jacobs, though he got the anytime touchdown, and though he picked up yardage from a receiving point of view, he did not hit the 50 rushing.
He was short 7 yards.
7 yards for that rush. 7 yards for that miss. Yeah. But unfortunately, we didn't hit that parlay. But we definitely had our fantasy lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this Thursday night was a little different.
Correct.
Because we couldn't just pick the best player of the position from between two teams. We had 6 teams to juggle because we were just accounting just for Thursday.
Exactly.
So, we had Jared Goff.
Yeah, 4th best quarterback from Thursday night.
So, 4 out of 6, mid-pack.
Mid-pack, exactly. Running backs, we had Gibbs and Jacobs.
Yep.
Well, obviously, Jacobs finished first with the show he put on. While Gibbs, had a good stat line. Didn't find the end zone, but he was the 6th best running back.
Yeah.
Which, you'll take that one.
Exactly.
Which leads us to wide receivers, Irshad.
I mean, we had Amon-Ra and we had Neighbors. I mean, we obviously saw it was a Neighbors show. Picked up, some decent yardage, PPR, great. But yeah, you had your 5, and then you have your Amon-Ra coming in 6th wide receiver. Now, wide receivers, you obviously have, 6 decent wide receivers for each game. I mean, that's a pretty top tier pack choice. And then we have, of course, our tight end. Huge.
Smith came out and
number one.
Just was Tua's favorite target.
He was. Yeah.
He had to throw the football because there was no way they were running against his Green Bay rushing defense. Like they could not. They had 5 yards of rushing by half. Like they could not run the football. Smith said, "Give me the ball. I will run. I will catch everything." And he put on a show for them.
He did. They couldn't throw far because it was cold. Tyreek Hill was locked up, right? And then you had the Lions defense locked up there, so you were good there. I mean, number 3 out of 6, so definitely middle of the pack. And then we had Gano as the kicker. So once again, mid pack, 3rd out of 6.
Yeah,
that's a dub. So that's kind of where we're at right now for the Thursday night football. But Week 13 is not over.
Not over at all.
So we are moving on to Sunday night football.
Yes, let's go.
So Sunday night, coming into it, our record is, you're at 14, 19, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 17, 16, and 3. And, we have our 3 games of the weeks here.
Yeah,
so let's get to the first one.
First window.
So, Houston Texans versus Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yet another division game.
Another big one.
Here.
And Houston is favored -3.5.
Yes.
So, what are you thinking?
Pretty straightforward. Houston came off a loss to Tennessee. They're going to be hungry.
Yep.
Jacksonville is a team where they had, a high goal that they had this season. A lot of injuries put them down. Lawrence is not there. You have backup quarterback. The running back situation is a mess. Your wide receivers are there, but they're not there at the same time. Every game is it depends on what's going on. I think C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, and that defense and that whole team come around. They come together and say, hey, listen, our loss to Tennessee was mistakes on our end, and we are going to prove to everybody that we're not going to lose 2 division games in a row to teams that are a bottom of us. And I think Houston's going to come out of here. They're going to put on an absolute show. Like, I'm telling you, a show. Like, they dominate Jacksonville. And the last 5 trips are 4-1 against the spread. Since 2011, Houston is 10-2 straight up and 9-3 against the spread, covering the spread by 6.3 points per game. So you're favored by 4. then you're covering by 6. You're winning by at least 10 points.
Yep.
You're having a double-digit victory here.
Yeah.
And I don't see Jacksonville keeping up. Yes, as a favorite, CJ Stroud is really not the best. He's 6-11 against the spread.
Yeah.
But you can't come and be 6-11 against the spread out here and be like, hey, we just lost to Tennessee and we're gonna come out. I think Houston puts on a show. I think they rock them.
Yeah.
I think they come out 2 touchdowns. Jacksonville I don't even think Jacksonville finds the end zone, to be honest.
Yeah,
Houston minus 3.5.
Yeah, and we've seen like Jacksonville getting like rocked
Yeah.
by Detroit the last couple of weeks. Like it's been crazy. And to add to that, Jaguars are coming off a bye week.
Correct.
At home.
Uh-huh.
All right. Coming off a full bye week, Doug Peterson, so the Jacksonville head coach, is just 2-5 against the spread, and he actually misses the cover on the spread by nearly 5.5 points, which means that if the cover by, once again, nearly 9-10 points. So if you have the 9 points of coverage, I mean, hey, it's going to be a tough matchup for them based on this alone. Obviously they are a bit of a losing streak. We know this, but teams on a 4-game losing streak entering the bye week are 52-36-2 after the time off. Mm-hmm. But you got to keep in mind is, the reality of it is he's just, he's a good coach.
Yep.
Right? Peterson is 17-7 as a head coach, through and through as a home underdog. But the reality of it is he's coming off a bye week, right? He is playing a very strong Houston team. And you have the strong benefits and dominance, like you said, with CJ Stroud. I'm not going to repeat that, but obviously you have that piece. But one other component that's important here, is the actual third player, and that's Mr. Land Clark.
Yeah.
Now, Land Clark, in this case, has some bias. He does not favor home teams.
Nope.
Over the games that Land Clark has refereed, home teams are just 25-37-1 against the spread. So, they're more inclined not to cover. Mm-hmm. You factor in the fact that, Doug Peterson has a decent record. Land Clark favors the away team, and this is a strong away team.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think, I don't know if it's going to be maybe a blowout per se, because things do change, especially a divisional dynamic. Mm-hmm. But I do think that at the end of it, Houston will cover by minus 3.5. So I'm rolling with you on this one.
There we go.
Houston, minus 3.5. Lock that in.
Lock it in.
And we're going on to another game,
which yet again is a
divisional matchup.
Because we love divisional matchups.
You got to love those. And this time we're taking it up north to a very chilly Cincinnati, where Pittsburgh is visiting them. In Cincinnati, where Cincinnati is favored minus 3. Alden, I'll throw it to you again first. What are you taking? What are you thinking?
This is a weird game. You have Cincinnati, who is a team who is they're 4-6, if I'm not mistaken, around there right now on their record. But they're coming out trying to win some games to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now a team
4-7.
4-7 with a team at 4-7. And then you look on the other hand where you have Pittsburgh, who is absolutely dominating teams right now. They're 8-3 on the road, and Tomlin is really good on the road. And you're telling me Pittsburgh is an underdog here?
That's crazy.
That absolutely makes no sense.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
But now when you look at it on a better perspective, they may be thinking just like how we are right now. Why is Pittsburgh an underdog?
Yeah.
Everybody is going to throw money on to Pittsburgh. Right now, 72% of the public is on Pittsburgh to cover the spread plus 3. Now, if you look at it into previous matchups that they played against each other, every time they're the team that is favored against these two teams, they're 4-0 straight up. And the team that is favored almost wins the game by 2 touchdowns, and they're winning by just under 20 points per game. So it looks like this game's about to be an under. Whoever's going to win is going to win by 2 points.
Yeah.
By 2 touchdowns or more, technically. And it's in favor for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the other hand, where you have Steelers as an underdog, they're proven to be winners. Mike Tomlin loves to be an underdog.
Yeah.
He says, hey, you put me as an underdog, my team will show you what we are made of.
Yeah.
And again, this season, the Steelers and underdogs are 4-0, straight up and as underdogs. The last time they took a loss was last year to the Bills in the playoffs when they were underdog. Does Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, do they all come back together and cover the spread by 3? Because they need this win.
Yeah.
After Miami took a loss on Thursday, opens up the window for them to at least chase the wild card. And when I mean at least chase the wild card, you have Denver and the Chargers who are 7-4, 7-5 there.
Yep.
You got Indy 5-7 who are going to play on Sunday. Miami's already 5-7. Cincinnati gets the win 5-7. Now you look at upcoming schedule for Cincinnati. After this game, they play Pittsburgh yet again to close out the season. I personally feel that last game of the season is going to be the best game ever.
Yeah.
I think that game is going to decide if Cincinnati makes the playoffs or they don't. But they got to start winning now.
Yeah.
I was leaning towards Pittsburgh to cover the spread, but I'm going to change it up, and I'm taking Cincinnati -3.
Taking Cincy -3.
I'm taking Cincy -3 because the public is all over Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to sit there just how I opened my statement that why are they underdogs by 3 points?
What does Vegas know?
What does Vegas know that we don't know? And I feel everybody's going to put their money on Pittsburgh. Yes, that defense is lethal. But for Cincinnati to make a run into the playoffs, they need to start getting hot, and they have to get hot now. Plus, Pittsburgh plays 3 division games in a row.
Yeah.
Right? They go and play Cleveland next week, which they should absolutely destroy Cleveland.
Yep.
And Cincinnati is their way. This is their win. This is the way that they're going to advance and somehow sneak into the playoffs. I'm going with Cincinnati. And at the same time, it's just something where I need to try to catch up to you, Rashad, on our record. So get to 500 on Sundays. I'm taking Cincy. Maybe I'm against you. Maybe you're rolling with me. We're about to find out. But what do you like in this game, Rashad?
Yeah, I mean, hey, you brought up a good point. I know that last minute change up. I can see that because, I'm looking at it, I heard what you were saying. And to be honest, Joe Burrow does have a better passer rating than Russell Wilson, right? He does. That's just the reality of it. And of course, they're coming off a bye. He's very efficient. He's 4-2 against the spread, which is pretty good. But let's not forget, this is an 8-3 divisional game where, the Steelers are undisputed number 1, playing against the third place team. Sure, they can kind of sit a little bit more complacent because they do have a bit of a cushion. But their defense is top notch, right? Like they're rock solid. On the road, Pittsburgh is 4-2.
Yes.
At home, since he's 1-4.
Yeah,
horrible at home.
Horrible.
Last time they played was practically Christmas of last year, and Pittsburgh dominated them 34-11. Yep. Obviously, every year is different. Every team is different. But let's take a look at some of the things this year, right? You have Russell Wilson. Now, Russell Wilson, we know, has gone his prime. He's past his prime. But, when he's an underdog and they have a good defense, Russell Wilson is 26-9-1 against the spread. Nearly 3 times as likely to cover the spread when an underdog and with a solid defense. All right? Tomlin. Obviously, we know Tomlin's history. The man is a head coaching genius. That's why he's there for so long.
Correct.
When Tomlin is listed as an underdog against a divisional opponent, the Steelers are 25-9-2. So once again, almost 3 times more likely to otherwise win as well and cover the spread, right? Tomlin hasn't finished the season under 500 against the spread, right? And in 2024, so far, he's 1-0. So I don't think he's starting this time around either, right? So when we look at it from that angle, it's looking very, very good. Now, we of course know Bengals, they are the favorite this time. As a favorite, you're more inclined to win, sure. But this is a different game at its core. But let's also not forget you have Sean Huchuli as the referee. Sean Huchuli, under his referee, home teams are 43-51-3 in his career. So within the margin of error, more or less the same, but there is a little bit of an affinity towards away teams actually covering the spread. So you factor in a number 1 versus number 3 game, a divisional matchup, a strong defense, plus the bias from Sean Huchuli, I think you're going to see Pittsburgh cover that -3. Will it be low scoring? I do think it actually might be a little low scoring, to be honest. Is it low enough to maybe call the under? I'd say so. But I'm looking to get myself the +3 for Pittsburgh. So lock that in from my angle. We are going to be rolling a little bit different here.
Yes.
But, hey, that's what makes it more fun.
Yes, it does.
And then we got the last matchup of the game, which is primetime Sunday night. What was projected to be a potential Super Bowl matchup.
Correct.
And that is the San Francisco 49ers coming up to the cold Buffalo.
Yeah.
And playing the Bills.
So, yeah, instead of a potential Super Bowl matchup, this is now a Snow Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's snow in the forecast in
Most
Buffalo.
Definitely. Yeah, oh, lovely.
And we have Mr. Brock Purdy coming back after a 1-game absence.
Yep, he's back.
And so now you don't have to rely on Allen. You got to rely on a quarterback that knows the scheme, knows how to play. But this Buffalo team is hungry.
Mm-hmm.
They lost Stephon Diggs. They acquired Amari Cooper.
Yep.
And they're just a whole different beast now.
Yep.
Josh Allen is just lethal. Like, Josh Allen comes on and he loves to play. But this game is going to be a tough one. Once again, I feel like it's going to be low scoring.
Yeah.
Why? Because the weather forecast calls for it to be a Snow Bowl. And now I'm going to start off with Mr. Third Player here, Alex Kemp. Alex Kemp is officiating. In Alex Kemp's career, home teams are 47, 50, and 1 against the spread. So when you look at it that way, he's right there.
Yeah.
He likes the home team, but he doesn't like the home team depending on who the home team is.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at 6 points.
Yeah.
In the snow, yes, it favors Buffalo. You have San Francisco, who has Brock Purdy back. That team is a mess. I don't know if you want to call it, like we said it last week too, when we took them to cover against Green Bay. Is it more of a Super Bowl hangover? Is it a Madden curse where you're on the cover?
Yep.
Is this team losing its firepower to show we run the NFC West? And right now they're sitting at almost the bottom of the division. Yep. And for them, they need this W.
Yeah.
They need to come out here. It's gonna be a weird game. I don't see the Buffalo Bills coming out and winning by more than 6 points, because on top of it too, you have Josh Allen, and when Josh Allen is favored by 6 or more points at home in a night game, he's 5-1 straight up. He comes out and wins the game.
He wins games,
no problem. But against the spread is what we talk about at AIM Sports, and he's 1-5 against the spread.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you have a snowball going on. You got Josh Allen coming off a bye. You have a team whose quarterback is coming back, who's hungry to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
6 points is a lot. I'm buying points. Give me the +6. San Francisco to cover. After they lost to Green Bay, got humiliated.
Oh yeah.
I don't see San Francisco getting humiliated again by more than a touchdown, because it's 6 or more. Give me the +6 San Francisco.
Oh, buddy, for sure. There's no doubt in my mind, right? Like, I think there's a lot to say. Like, I mean, you mentioned that stellar statistic about Josh Allen where, as a favorite 6 or more, he's 1-5 against the spread. Like, he's out here winning, sure, but he's losing the spread. Like, he doesn't cover.
Yeah.
Right? Which is horrible. Now, Allen has played 30 total home games.
Correct.
In his career where he has been a favorite of 6 points or more. Okay? This is that just in general, not night games, right? Just in general. In those games particularly, Allen is 13, 15, and 2 against the spread. 13, 15, and 2. So he actually is below 500 when actually covering the spread generally. Now, of course, in the home night games, he's 1-5. So even worse. Now, Allen in and of itself, there is that ability of coming off a bye week.
Correct. A lot of these teams we're taking are coming off a bye week.
Off a bye week. So, you guys have to keep in mind, we're at a point where injuries are everything.
Correct.
These extra bye weeks could make or break their wild card playoffs, like everything, right? You get some of your guys back. Now, coming off an extended rest, like coming off a bye week, Josh Allen is 10, 13, and 1.
Yeah.
Against the spread, which is underwhelming. Okay.
Correct.
It's tough because, when you're coming off a full bye week to face the 49ers at home, it's 10, 13, and 1. That being said, generally, Allen is 4-2-1 when on a full bye week in his career, in the 7 starts, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely has a piece of success where he could really do well, or he could do underwhelming. But one thing that we have coming back is we have Purdy coming back. Correct. Right? Now, night games generally haven't been a bad place for the 49ers.
Nope, not with Shanahan.
Not with Shanahan. So this season alone, 49ers are 3-0 against the spread in night games, which is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Now, San Francisco being an underdog this game, when they are an underdog in night games, they are 7-2 against the spread. Nearly 3 times more likely to cover the spread.
Yeah.
And when the game is played in under 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which unlike the Miami Dolphins and Tua, who haven't won a game, San Francisco is 3-0 against the spread as dogs.
Yeah.
3-0.
So you have Josh Allen here, who's 1-5 against the spread off a bye week. And then you have the referee who's right there. And then you have the 49ers who haven't lost a night game, but then playing weather under 40 degrees Fahrenheit are 3-0.
3-0.
That's...
you had Miami last week, or just previous Thursday, who has not won in cold weather below 40. And you have another, I guess, warmer tropical team, if you will, in San Francisco, who is 3-0 in Buffalo when it's under 40.
How do you not ride the stats there?
So, I agree. I think Josh Allen's going to have an advantage. As we saw, similar to Green Bay, Jordan Love having an advantage of being home in the cold. But I think the way this team has played shows the Super Bowl caliber that they have.
Yep.
They're going to come out and, unlike Miami, actually be able to make a bit of a game.
For sure,
So, I'm also rolling with San Francisco.
Let's go.
+3.
Plus 6.
Plus 6. Apologies. +6. Lock that in there.
There we go. So those are our 3 games of the week. We have it. We'll repeat it again for you. We got Houston, Jacksonville, opening window. We both got Houston -3.5. Another opening window at 1 o'clock. We got a divisional game, Pittsburgh, Cincy, where I'm taking Cincy -3. My brother's taking Pittsburgh +3. We're hoping this is a push, so nobody wins, nobody loses.
Yep.
But, hopefully somebody wins and somebody loses.
There you go.
And then we got the last game, which is the last window of Sunday, which San Francisco, Buffalo. Give us San Fran +6. And now let's go into anytime touchdown trending bet for the week, Irshad. Tell them who we have.
Now, the anytime touchdown for this week, we have none other than in the 1 o'clock game.
Just tell them we love this guy, because we've been riding this guy all season.
He's made us money, I think, 3 or 4 times this season.
And why not go again with him?
Why not go
Ride
again?
the hot hand.
We have Joe Mixon.
Yes, Joe Money Mixon.
Now, he is going, obviously playing for the Texans. They're playing against a Jacksonville defense that is hurt and that is near the bottom of the league in rushing yards. So we are rolling with that team there to, win, and it's going to be on the backs of Mixon. So lock that in, depending on the sportsbook you use. But Mixon definitely seems like it's a solid bet.
A solid lock right in there.
Next is our 3-leg parlay. Alner, who do we have?
Whew. Okay, this is a fun one here. So we're going to go work away like a little backwards right now. We have a big game happening on Sunday between 2 running back MVPs against each other.
Yeah.
And we also have 2 quarterbacks that are also MVP caliber facing off against each other. This potentially could also be a Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
We got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. This is going to be a fun game. We got a lot of dogs going in here. We're going with Derrick Henry over 70 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Cap that in for our first leg. Now, the second 2 legs are the same, but 2 different teams, 2 different games. Since football is called football, you got to kick it in the upright. We're taking over 2.5 field goals for the Cincy and Pittsburgh game. And we're also taking over 2.5 field goals in the Chargers and Atlanta Falcons game.
Dang. So that's it. You heard that. So let's recap that.
Irshad, tell them to recap.
So, field goals actually been working for us.
They have been.
They actually been working for us. So, all I was saying, over 2.5 total field goals in the Cincy and Pittsburgh game.
Yep.
Over 2.5 total field goals in the Chargers and Atlanta Falcons game. Mm-hmm. And then we have King Henry stepping up on a big matchup night.
At home.
Over 70 yards rushing. You got to lock that in because that's 3 times your unit.
3 times your unit.
Easy.
Put $50 on, you win $150.
Easy.
Just right there.
Over 2.5. Henry.
Beautiful. I love it.
I like that. That to me is great. We'll recap everything at the end of the show. But let's get into our fantasy lineup. So here again on Sunday, we have our lineup there. Let's just start it off with our quarterback. This quarterback we're taking this week has been a fun quarterback to watch this year. Yeah.
Previous years he's been injured. There's been doubts about him. Like, is he going to reach his potential? And with the team surrounding him with a lot of hardworking players, we like Kyler Murray as our quarterback for fantasy this week against this Minnesota team that, yes, allows points. Yes, they do score points, but Kyler Murray is so versatile. He always finds a way to find the end zone with his legs or his arm. He's going to produce a lot of points this week.
That's it. I mean, then we got into our, counterpart, which is the running back. First one is Joe Mixon.
Money Mixon.
We obviously already talked about Mr. Money Mixon himself, going up against a battered Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Bottom of the rank. Definitely going to pick up yardage. Definitely going to get the checkdowns. And definitely going to get the touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And then our second running back, is going to be someone who's been back on the hot streak. Yeah. And that's Kyren Williams. He's also playing another bottom of the barrel rushing defense. So we imagine it's going to be indoor, up Kyren Williams' alley, playing in a warmer area. Yep. And we think it's going to be a good matchup. So lock that in. We expect another TD or two from him, which gets us to our wide receivers.
Wide receivers here, we have Mr. Justin Jefferson. Minnesota's been playing really good football. You're going up against a team as Arizona who also allows points. They both put up points. But Justin Jefferson hasn't been playing the best football as he should be playing for the past couple of weeks. Maybe it's Sam Darnold. Maybe he's a little too old. Maybe his arm is getting, tired out there. But this is a game where they need to keep up with Green Bay and Detroit in their division. We think JJ is going to find the end zone. He's going to produce a lot of yardage this week, fantasy worthy.
Yep.
And then our second wide receiver, we got Sutton on Monday night. They're playing a deployed Cleveland Browns team.
Yep.
Nix is on a hot hand as he's also a candidate for Rookie of the Year as well too. And Sutton has been just catching everything for them.
Yep.
Like just everything. He's going to continue his hot hand. I think last week he had 2 touchdowns too. He's going to continue that hot hand. We're riding him as our second wide receiver.
There you go.
Which leads us to our tight end, Irshad. So who do we have?
Our tight end is in a AFC matchup between the Colts and the Patriots. We know what you're thinking. Why are you picking such a game like this? Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a potentially low-scoring one, but it's not about how many touchdowns you get, although it's important. It's the yardage they also pick up as well. So we look at the Colts defense being, once again, bottom of the barrel when it comes to passing. We know the Patriots' top receiver is actually not a receiver at all. It's a tight end. And that tight end is Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
So definitely lock that in. He's only scored 1 touchdown all year, but he's averaging nearly 10.5 yards per carry. So definitely you want to ensure you lock that in because there's a touchdown coming. It's going to be happening this game. And then we have our defense.
Yes, we got the Texans defense here. Listen, after what happened to them last week against Tennessee, they're not going to let it happen again against Jacksonville. That defense is going to step out. Like I said earlier in this podcast too, I don't see Jacksonville might not even find the end zone. I think Houston is going to come out and just annihilate them and say, hey, listen, like that win last week was our fault, our mistakes from our players and our defense and our coaches. We're going to own up to it, and we're giving everything to Jacksonville, everything all we have. Yeah. And they might even have a pick 6 this game too. Let's just throw it out there.
Yeah.
And then we have our kicker, final player for our fantasy or shot.
Final player is a cross-division, cross-conference matchup between the Chargers and the Falcons. This is an indoor game with the spread of only 1. We imagine it's going to be a matter of a kick or 2 that can make or break it. But what we're anticipating is the Charger, and that is Dicker.
Yes.
Going to be able to be the difference maker for that. Once again, they're going against a defense that is bottom of the barrel when it comes to passing, total yardage, and rushing. And we anticipate, given that the offense of the Chargers is a little bit on the low power, whatever they are able to scrape up and get and move the chains, they're going to capitalize with putting Dicker in there to make sure they actually capitalize and leave with some points on that drive. So we're closing out with Dicker on that fantasy lineup. So to sum up here, we have for our picks, anytime touchdown, we have Joe Mixon, anytime touchdown, 3-leg parlay. Alner, who do we have?
So we have over 2.5 field goals for the divisional Cincinnati and Pittsburgh game, over 2.5 field goals for the Chargers and Falcons game, and then we got King Henry himself to rush over 70 yards. 3 times your money, lock it in.
There you go. And then we have our fantasy lineup, which, we have quarterback Murray, running back Mixon and Kyren Williams, wide receiver Justin Jefferson, Sutton, and who are our last 3?
There we go. We got tight end Henry, Houston defense, and Dicker as our kicker.
Easy
right there. Follow through. Let's have some fun this Sunday. You know, can you believe it's already December 2? This Sunday's going to be December 1st.
It's crazy.
It's already going to be the new year.
And Super Bowl is officially 2 months away.
2 months away. That's going to be fun. I'm excited for that.
Every game has major implications.
Yeah.
People are going to start rebuilding their team from now. Mm-hmm. People are going to start looking at maybe trading draft picks.
Yeah.
Free agency.
Teams are going to be playing spoilers. Teams are going to be like, we want to make playoffs. You know, you guys beat us. You're in the division. We don't want you to make the playoffs. We're going to play our best this game. Play, crappy the whole season, left the season. But hey, we're about to find out. Yeah. December 1st, where football gets the most exciting. Teams are hungry to make the playoffs. Can they make it? We're about to find out.
Well, there it is.
There it is. From AIM Sports, we're here. We're about to leave you guys. But just know, bet responsibly. Bet what you can afford. Ride with us. Let's have some fun together. Get your popcorn ready. Sunday football, December 1st. Let's go.
Lock it in.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.